My name is Ann Stepping. I live on Mineola Road, Hollywood. I'm against this. I agree it needs more time, and the citizens of College Park who are legal to vote to decide on this with your help. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anybody else who would like to testify at this time? Who has not yet testified? Going once, going twice? Okay, then I will return to the council for comment. Mr. Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight I'm reminded of a quote, "When they go low, we go high." But at the community level, that's not a statement to divide us by partisan issue, but to remind members of both sides of the issue to listen and to respect each other, and to go high when the conversation devolves into smarmy, smug, disrespectful, and offensive language. I want to thank those of you tonight who testified, who suggested that we need to show more love and compassion to each other, because at the end of the day, we need to coexist in this city, and it's going to be a whole lot easier if we treat each other well. I'm looking at my next-door neighbor in the audience this evening, and I know that we disagree on this issue, but we will continue to look out for each other. With regard to the motion to substitute, it's unfortunate that this concern is being brought up at the last minute by my council colleague when we've been discussing this issue for the last 4 months. I have confidence that this council and city staff will borrow the practices of citizens or cities that have passed this already and do what is legally possible to manage any voter lists. To call the city guiding documents a sacred document that must not be touched does not reflect the history of this document. This document is meant to be fluid, and it is filled with amendments. In the 1960s, there are several amendments to protect the voting rights of women in the city of College Park. Any postponement undermines the process that we have all been through. It questions the value of the significant engagement that's taken place to date and diminishes the role of this council, which is to govern, to deliberate, and to make hard decisions for the good of the city. I do not believe we need to kick this can down the road. I've already gone on the record to say that a referendum on civil rights is not only harmful to minority communities, it totally ignores the input of the community that would be most impacted by this vote. I would argue that the process we've conducted over the past 4 months provides greater value because it has sought and received input of residents who are non-citizens. We've been able to collect thoughtful arguments from our residents through public comment that aids in the deliberative process that this governing body needs to draw meaningful conclusions. 2,200 people voted in the last election, which is roughly 13% of the city's registered voting population, or roughly 6% of our total city population. By sending to referendum, 2,200 people would be checking yes or no box to make a decision for $35,000 for the decision of 35,000 people on the fate of a minority community's ability to participate. I would argue that the engagement and the meaningful comment we have received to date serves this council better to make tonight's decision. And the idea of a commission is more egregious in its implications. In this case, we are talking about 5, 10, 20 members of a commission advising the council on the fate of this community and making the decision for the whole city. It is the job of this council to be the commission, to be the governing body, to deliberate, ask questions, engage with residents, to look at the count, but also recognize that the content of these arguments that have been submitted is more significant than a simple tally. I urge my colleagues to stand for the rights of our neighbors this evening and do not postpone this amendment. Thank you.